Hey, listener, just want to give you a quick content warning. This episode deals with some pretty heavy stuff that might impact you, so if you don't want to hear a conversation or references to abortion, opioids, and the addiction and abuse thereof, then just go ahead and skip this one. That's fine. We'll see you next week. We'll be there. We'll be back next week. You won't miss anything. A couple jokes. They weren't that funny, let's be honest. Welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast for people who want to watch all this prestige television, but who's got time for it?
I know I don't, and that is why I'm driving around the neighborhood bringing the prestige TV to you.
Yeah, speaking of which, guys, we're going to have to wrap this up. I got a doctor's appointment, and they're right outside right now, so let's wrap this up. Yeah. Welcome back to Last Time On, everyone.
I'm Xhafer.
I am Ben.
And I'm Victor. Welcome back.
And we've got Shameless, Season 10, Episode 9, Oh Captain, My Captain, to talk about today.
But before we get started, Ben, I just wanted to ask you personally, on a scale of 1 to 10 Gallaghers, how much anxiety did this episode give you?
Not that bad. Yeah. Somehow, insurance fraud and kidnapping, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody's not making, this ends with them having money to pay bills.
Can you put a number on it? Can you imagine that Vic and I put a little bet down on what your number would be before we started recording this episode, and then give us your number?
My number's a 4.
We guessed it would be. Wow.
Damn.
Wow. We're both way off. Okay. No worries.
Yeah, I am full. I am full frog in the pot here. Just like
okay.
It is
the
Zen
water
Ben.
is boiling. Yeah. Okay.
Oh
Yeah, you're a
no,
little red
Carl
over
might
there.
not be able to become a cop. Oh no.
Oh, that was terrible.
I wasn't terribly upset about that.
Red over there, Ben. You been getting some sun?
I have.
Yeah,
Spent most of this weekend outside.
Yeah, nice.
Ben went disc golf with me yesterday.
Hey.
We played 2 courses. Ben got an ace. I also got an ace. I
don't know what that is. Is that good?
It's a hole in one for disc golf. But, it was on a putt-putt course. So we played some putt-putt disc golf. Yeah. And then we played a normal round. So.
That is much better than the outdoor activities I had today. I'm just listeners out there, just in case this is my last recording. I just want to tell you how I went out. So there was a yellow jacket's nest that established itself out in my driveway.
Are you a
bunch of cannibal lesbians?
Well, no, no, but their yellow jackets are assholes, and I was honestly more worried about them messing with my dog because she loves to get into things she shouldn't. So I put together a little homemade yellow jacket bottle of genocide. It was just some witch hazel and what else was in it? Lavender, rubbing alcohol, dish soap, basically anything I could find that was poisonous. So I went out there and I got them. I got the nest. And I got them all except one.
Oh no!
And this fucker, this was a slippery little bastard, dude. He dodged every shot I sprayed at him, and then got away back into the woods. So
he'll be back.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned. I'm
numbers.
kind of freaked out. Yeah, I just destroyed his home and murdered his family. What if it was the queen? Do Yellow Jackets have queens? Does that?
Yes,
I don't
they
know
do.
how they work.
But
they do.
Most importantly, Vic, you just created Yellow Jacket John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He killed that Yellow Jacket's dog.
And family.
Indiscriminately. And family. It's bad news.
Yeah. I'm not here next week. Blame the Yellow Jackets.
I had to take out a Yellow Jacket nest last summer. They haven't shown themselves this year. So when I first moved in, there was one that was underneath the siding on the side of my house. And so I thought I got that one pretty good. And a couple survived, moved out, and started burrowing in my backyard.
I've heard about that. Some of them, they live underground. Yeah.
Yeah, so I found the burrowed nest.
Ooh.
And I took care of that with a gallon of soapy water. I put saran wrap on over it, right? I cut a little X in it to let the liquid in, and then I poured a gallon of soapy liquid down that bitch and just watched them all drown in saran wrap and stuff. And I'm like, ha-ha! Gotcha! And that took care of that. And I haven't seen them since, so I'm hoping this round 2 was the last. But you should prepare for round 2.
Yeah.
Although not the scariest experience I've had with a stinged insect. Well, I guess I've had 2 if we go to stingered insects. I did have an encounter with a scorpion when hiking through desert in California once. That left a permanent mar on my boot from where it tried to get me and couldn't get through my steel toe.
Whoa.
Yes, it popped out, tried to get me, and then the buddy I was hiking with stepped on it immediately, but it did not get through my boot. And then I also have encountered a real-life cicada killer at my old house before I moved. Cicada hunters that are giant. It was about the size of my hand.
Yeah.
And I have big ol' hands.
You're not like Mickey. You have big hands.
This is a extra large cell phone. This is a Pixel 7 Pro. This is my hand.
Oh, that's a big hand.
Yeah.
Huge hands.
I got big ol' sausage fingers up on this. I got big ol' hands.
Dick beaters back in the day.
So, did you really? I don't want to explore that at all.
It's my worst experience with anything with a stinger was when I tried to go for the WCW Heavyweight Championship, and I got Scorpion death dropped, and 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go up against the stinger.
The stinger is a wrestler.
Sting
is it's Sting.
Sting. There's a wrestler named Sting.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a picture of him with the musician Sting hanging out. It's hilarious.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So, thank you.
They are aware of each other's existence. Mostly through their children, to my understanding. I think Sting's son, singer Sting's son, was a wrestling fan and made that happen. Anyways, we got an episode to talk about. Conspicuously absent of stingered insects. So we got season 10, episode 9, Oh Captain, My Captain. Did they reference Oh Captain, My... Oh, because Oh Captain, My Captain comes
Not
from
once.
a poem, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I was curious about that,
where
too.
The hell
There's
was
not
this
even
episode title?
There's not even a captain. Was the football guy, was he captain of the football team, maybe? I don't know.
It's a Walt Whitman
This
poem.
made no sense to me. Is it? Okay.
About the death of Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've read it many times.
Yeah, I didn't catch anywhere that it would be a reference. But we do open on Tammy doing her last time on. Welcome to the podcast, Tammy.
Yeah. Now, when she popped up, did you guys recognize who that was when she first popped up?
Yeah.
That it was Tammy? Yeah.
Damn it. Okay. Well, I got a lot of points this episode. I was going to see if because it took me a second. I was like, who the fuck is that? Because that was one of my predictions that we were going to see someone. But damn it, Tammy, we already saw you once. So
yeah, Tammy's back. That is points for me. But I immediately lose 2 sets of points right off the bat in this episode.
Oh, yeah?
So we get the new theme.
Yes!
It's the same song, but with new stuff. No Emmy Rossum.
Yeah.
No longer
missing.
Gone.
I don't think she was even referenced in this
Liam's
episode.
Old bits. They said her name.
Yeah, they referenced her.
Name at one point. This episode opens on Ian on crutches and Mickey back for the first time for us since season 4, which loses me 3 points because back in season 4 I predicted we'd never see Mickey again. Made it to season 10.
So we've got Ian on crutches with a boot. So I got to ask you, Xhafer, what happened to her?
What the hell happened?
Can't explain. But I got the van.
What happened to her?
What happened to her?
So there is a lot about in a little bit, we haven't talked about it yet, but a lot about Ian leaving Mickey at the altar, right? In this episode. Mm-hmm. I'm going to guess that the crutches and the leaving at the altar are related incidents. What my theory presupposes is that Ian tried to make it to the altar, like had given up, right? Was not going to do it, was leaving him at the altar was the plan. And then at the very last minute decided to go for it. And in running up the marble steps of the courthouse, trips, falls down those steps, and breaks his leg, so he is unable to get there on time. Now, he did already decide, like, the family was already like, well, yeah, he wasn't going to do it. You left him at the altar. So there's no, like, change for anyone. But he had changed his mind and decided to marry Mickey last minute and was not able to make it.
Well, we know that Mickey has not taken the jilting well and is now hooked up with Byron, who drives a moped.
Byron Coke.
Very good.
Lest we forget. Yeah, Tammy is confirmed to appear again, since if we're not counting anything that happens in the themes, like we've gone on record of saying that the butt in the theme doesn't count for nudity for VIX points.
Yep.
But we do see
the
some
shower
lip ass.
Yeah, well, regardless, my assumption was that if we had not seen Tammy in the episode and she had only done the credits bit, that would not count as an appearance for the sake of points. Because we don't count the theme, why would we count that stuff right before the theme? So I do get my points there.
Yeah. And while we're talking about points, I have to say, well, I apparently was overruled the last time this came up. No violence in this episode unless it's violence against pills.
Are you kidding? No, dude. Carl beat the shit out of that kid with the phone book.
Oh, Carl did beat the shit out of the kid with the book. Yes. Okay.
Yep. Broke a rib.
Yeah. But anyway, that's later in the episode. We'll get there.
Tammy and Lip are talking in their RV. They owe $3,600 for the baby birth of Fred.
Must have really good insurance.
That's what I said. They're like
Really?
losing their minds about this bill, and I'm all like, wow, that is so cheap.
Really?
Oh,
we had a bigger bill for Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Babies. Expensive.
Babies are expensive, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
they
can get
got
a payment
off
plan.
easy.
It's not that bad, but it's,
Over at the Gallagher house, we see Liam knocking off another prediction for me, as Aunt Opie is getting breakfast together.
Yeah, I referred to her as Grand Magama in my notes here.
And Vic, don't worry, I have already ordered you her shirt.
Oh, God. Yeah, listeners, she's wearing a shirt that says he can grab my and an arrow pointing to her vagina. So
I remember so vividly where I was when that video dropped during the election. I was working with co-host of Draft Universe, Chris, and Ben and I's former podcasting partner. I was with him in Grand Rapids for work. We were eating at a Chinese buffet, and that came on. And I'm all like, oh, this is Dukakis in the tank. This election is over. Like, how quick this turned from being maybe a race to having no chance of Donald Trump becoming the president of the United States. And man, I just want to apologize to everyone because that was my hubris. That was on me. That 4 years, my bad.
We can blame Xhafer for that one, huh?
Right. That was maybe if I hadn't said it was done, it wouldn't have happened. So sorry, everyone.
Xhafer, I don't think you were the only person.
I'm sure, Ben. Yeah.
Just want to go on record now, seeing as how we're recording this. This is currently recording in early June 2024. Sorry, I keep breaking the rule of letting people know we record ahead of time.
It's assumed.
I would not be surprised. Like, I would be disappointed, but not surprised if Mr. Trump goes to jail and gets elected president anyway, and we have the first president in American history serving a term from prison. That would be such an American thing to happen.
If only for a moment for him to pardon himself. But yeah, so as we're recording this, Trump, like 4 days ago, was convicted of 34 felonies, 34 counts of felonies. I don't think he's going to see any jail time from that.
We also don't need to talk about this on pod.
We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, you're right. This is depressing. Let's talk about this depressing episode.
Yeah. Yeah. If we want to, we can talk about it in the Discord. That's what it's there for.
Join the
at
Discord.
The Gallagher house, we see Liam already did this. Oh, okay.
So the big thing we
Aunt
see...
Opie compares Tammy... Okay, I'm just going to get a clean take of that, Ben. Aunt Opie compares Tammy to Megyn Kelly, which is a choice.
Positively.
And then they notice that Frank is MIA because of the smell. The house smells better because Frank is missing. This is a thing. There is like an alcoholic funk for people who are real deep into it. If you've never smelt it in your life, consider yourself grateful.
You're right. Tammy is the one who noticed it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gallaghers are probably used to it.
For the Who Are You listeners out there, is it just me, or does Tammy remind you of a certain leader of a Mars resistance? Just in appearance.
Well, a little number one-y? Yeah, I can see that.
she got
tall,
like
blonde, in all black. I can see it. We then find that the smell has moved across town, where Frank is handcuffed to a bed in a diaper on top of plastic sheeting. And I was just like, Dexter crossover. But no.
He's apparently been kidnapped and chained to a bed by,
Faye.
Faye is her name, yes.
Faye, Kyle's mother.
And
someone Frank was in court with or against, it's not entirely clear, some 20 to 30 years ago.
And Frank has his M. Bison moment where...
right.
where for her son getting sent to prison was the most traumatic day for his life, of her life. For Frank, it was Tuesday. He does not remember. He doesn't even know who this person is. It is like, and this episode, like, really, like, I'll get into it more later, but this is really a kind of person who wants their traumatic moment to be as important for you as it is for them. And trauma expectations never go well.
Faye has been preparing for this for a long time, you can tell. She has...
Yeah.
She has Frank chained to the bed, and she offers him a drink, and then starts to pour it out on the carpet, to which Frank is like, no. I forgot what kind of liquor it was, but it looked expensive.
It is. That was a Belvery 30-year whiskey. I priced that bitch out.
Right. Yeah.
That is a $1,200 bottle of whiskey.
Oh, damn. But as Frank was screaming no, I wrote down in my notes, she's pouring out her own booze. It's not even his booze. And Frank is just screaming like, no, stop.
Speaking of being in bed with an older lady.
Yeah, Debbie wakes up at her newly minted girlfriend's, Claudia. There is a rather large age gap here. I'm assuming Debbie is at least over 18 by now. We don't really know. It feels very groomery, this relationship, in not a good way to me. And I don't know how much of that is us skipping around because Debbie still feels 14 to me because we haven't grown up with her because we've only seen 8 episodes of the show in which she has aged, 8 or 9 years, presumably.
10 years because it's season 10. So she'd be early 20s by now.
And that's assuming that there's no time jump, which we do think there might have been.
Well, at least the actress is in her early 20s now.
Yes.
Right.
Franny is 4 at this point already. But yeah, it's a little weird, but I don't have enough context to get judgmental about it.
And the thing that gets me, though, is she asks Deb, hey, I'm going to be busy today. Will you go pick up my daughter? And let me just say, as a father...
This is where we expected the anxiety spike, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sending a rando to pick up my kid, especially if, this person seems to be very well off. There has to be an assistant or somebody.
Yeah, she was talking about having a business meeting in Dubai. And that's why she can't pick up her kid.
Like, there's a person your kid is familiar with.
Yeah, not an actual nanny instead of a prostitute to pick up your kid. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Deb's line of the line where Deb says, "You don't think it's going to be weird, some random girl picking her up from school?" And Claudia says, "Nah, she's used to it by now."
Yeah, and that
as we find out, that's confirmed later in the episode.
That's Worf level parenting right there.
V is setting up a mobile nursing truck as a side hustle, repurposing what must have been a nude maid service called Nooks and Fannies, with V and Lana wearing only spray bottles and brushes painted on the side.
Yep.
And I think Svetlana was holding a very strategically placed squeegee covering her titties.
Yeah, it's absurd. But Kevin has to paint this for the nursing service, and he is saying goodbye to them titties.
Yep, he's pouring one out.
Yeah, quite literally saying goodbye. Yeah, that's a scene. That's a scene that happens in this episode.
We then cut to Carl, who is running Fight Club Junior with a bunch of police cadets.
Carl has somehow found a job that involves him beating up rich kids. Fuck Carl, but good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, this group of cadets, but not really, these underage police cadet wannabes.
Yeah.
Not even ROTC, whatever they are. You know what they remind me of? Did you guys ever see Karate Kid 4? Like the really bad one with Hilary Swank? Like these kids remind me of the antagonists of that movie. They were all a group of self-appointed law enforcers for the school, and they looked ridiculous. They wore berets and black T-shirts, and they had no authority whatsoever, except that there were a bunch of bullies in uniform, and they were just going around. And those were the bad guys in that movie. I mean, I'm actually kind of embarrassed that I now remember the plot of Karate Kid 4. Anyway, moving over, Mickey is packing up.
Mickey is moving in with his Coke buddy here, his new boyfriend who he met last night.
And Ian is trying to talk him out of it, and I am just screaming at the TV like, "No, Ian, stop! Stop trying to talk him out of it. Let him go. Finally getting rid of him. Fuck."
This is absolutely a situation where let him go. You're done. Mm-hmm. And so we found out, hey, they were going to get married. Ian left Mickey at the courthouse /altar. And I don't know, have you guys ever known anybody who was in a relationship, the relationship ended, and then the person was like desperately trying to get back into it, and you were like, no, please stop. I feel like this is somebody we've all known.
Yeah.
Frank continues to get tortured over not getting pills.
The crazy woman, Faye, asks him what he loves most in the world, and he says, "My kids." And she looks at him, and he says, "Okay, opioids." So she begins to torture him by smashing his opioids one by one unless he answers some questions correctly about who Kyle was.
And this makes me incredibly frustrated of the stuff that made me frustrated in this episode, because you can tell Frank is just randomly guessing at certain points.
Yeah.
He does not remember who Kyle is. Kyle left no impression on him. And even if he would have known 30 years ago, 30 years of intense substance abuse has washed it all away. And so while Faye is desperately hoping to jog some memory, we can tell that Frank is just guessing at random stuff he might have done until he gets close enough that she's like, okay. He guesses through an entire football team before he figures out it's a quarterback. Right. Frank is just randomly listing stuff like, oh, he was my friend. He was my drinking buddy. I was helping him, and he was a freshman. At which point we find out that Frank, 1, went to college, which was surprising to me, and 2,
very surprising,
was a 10th year senior. And to which, what was her name again, Vic? Faye. Faye was like, I thought you were a graduate student. And then we find out, oh no, he was on the football team.
Mm-hmm. We see the finished paint job for the truck here. It has been, so Svetlana is just grayed out, and V has a nurse outfit painted on top of her previous sexy maid pose. So it kind of looks like a Halloween nurse as opposed to a actual nurse. And the ice cream truck music plays as they find people who should just go to a fucking
people
doctor.
are going to die.
Yes.
Yes, running
like, I'm cut so bad.
Unlicensed
that's gonna get
medical
infected.
care out of a rusty ice cream truck. I did not have that on my bingo card for this show.
We then have a bit where earlier in this episode, Tammy was giving Lip a lot of stuff for, well, stealing all the time. And as Lip was saying, like, yeah, we're just not going to pay our hospital bill, whatever. And she gave enough guff to Lip that he sees a young woman who is trying to get money out of an ATM. The ATM isn't giving her money. She goes inside to yell, which, everybody, just so you know, those spaces are leased by the businesses, so they sell it out to somebody else. That person inside has no control over it.
Nothing.
I can't open it up. I can't help you. I don't have a phone number for you to call. Is there one on the machine? That's all I know. I've had this conversation about 1,000 times.
Oh, that's always rough.
And the money distributes after she goes inside. Lip is about to steal it, thinks better, goes in to give it back to her, and then Lip gets robbed. So the one time Lip decides to do something nice.
By a drive-by, a scooter by, I don't know, some dude on an electric scooter.
Aunt Opie is reading the Mueller report. God, remember when that was as bad as it got?
I do.
Carl marches in his recruits for interrogation training. And Ian and Debbie have a conversation where they are on opposite sides of getting married.
It is also important to...
Debbie actually...
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, Vic is blowing his nose. It's also important to note here that the statistic that Ian is reciting, that 50% of all divorces or all marriages end in divorce, that is an outdated statistic that largely involves all of the people who got divorced in the 70s when it first became legal to actually get divorced. And so it actually is a giant adjusting for that time period. The divorce rate is actually much lower than 50%. Although we can cut this out.
I have questions.
Not on this podcast, but
hey,
I have questions. It was illegal to get. It was what
the
legal to get divorced until the 70s.
It was the rules and the reasons for divorce were especially in some places in the country very, very strict. Like, you could only get divorced if the wife cheated, or if you found out the kids weren't the husbands, because those were the things they were worried about. And so no-fault divorce became a thing in the 70s, which is, surprising, around the same time that you could start getting a bank account as a woman without having a man sign off on it.
Okay.
Only 20 years before you could get a business loan as a woman without a man signing on it.
So in our parents' lifetimes was the time where a lot of stuff actually started changing around this. So a lot of the divorces we know of from the 70s and 80s and all of the kids we knew in the 90s growing up in homes of divorce, it was because no-fault divorce became a thing, and all of the men and women, but mostly women, who were just like, hey, actually, I don't want to be with you anymore, could.
Well, this is pretty fascinating. Yeah, I had no idea. This is current divorce rate. Well, okay, divorce statistics for 2022, 3.2 per 1,000. Wait, no.
That can't be right. That's
1,000
real low.
Okay, it's 3.2 per 1,000 population. I'm not sure what that actually
So
means.
out of 1,000 people,
for how many marriages?
3.2 have been divorced. But, that's population data, so that's not out of...
Yeah. And it says in 2021, 14 divorces per 1,000 married women. That's... Wow.
Yeah, and so I
U.S. Who knows? I
just know.
Listeners in the Discord, let us know.
Have you been divorced? We'll start a new Discord chat for you.
Yeah, there we go.
Tell your horror stories.
Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have a divorcee chat. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to prove that you're a divorcee before you can join.
It's gonna be me in there twice.
You can upload a happy photo or a sad photo, depending on the reason.
You won't be alone in there, Vic. It's fine.
Anyway, where do we?
Anyways, Aunt Opie reading the Mueller report. Carl recruits. Ian Debbie episode of marriage. Okay, Frank keeps guessing every sports position he can name here when he finally stumbles upon that Kyle was on the football team.
We have a funny little CGI scene of Frank's. Of inside Frank's mind. He's trying to remember what Kyle looked like, and I thought this was a commercial at first. I thought Netflix had cut to a commercial. This image of this football player. Like, was he tall? Was he short? Was he a lineman?
Wide receiver, lineman, running back.
That's pretty funny.
And we end up on quarterback.
Goalie, catcher, long snapper, kick holder, pinch hitter, caddy, sweeper,
goalie,
keeper, hooker. Finally hits quarterback.
And I did black quarterback in the 90s. Wow.
Not wrong. Yep. This is where the 10th year senior bit comes in.
And what college was he at?
We don't know.
Did they ever say?
I don't believe they say.
Huh.
We then go to the motorcycle garage where we find out that Lip chased down the guy that stole the money and then was like, well, at this point, it's mine. And so he's injured, but he stole the money. Yeah. And Lip is having...
He earned it at that point.
Lip is having his, am I the baddie moment? Like, am I a piece of crap? And it's like, yeah, Lip, you are.
But he brought hot dogs for his coworkers with the stolen money. The stolen money that he stole back.
But
yeah. I mean, he was probably late, so it's fair trade if you're going to be late to bring lunch for people.
Plus, after chasing down that guy, what are the chances that he's going to be able to find that woman anyway? So,
but his boss does bring up a point that often is true. Morality is for people who are comfortable enough to have it, and so you can argue about it when you're not starving.
I loved this line. I want to get this tattooed on me, maybe. Like, morals are for the comfortably middle class because rich people don't have them, and broke guys like us can't afford them.
Yep.
It's so awesome.
Over at V's clinic, they are working.
And
when someone comes up,
V gives condoms to a guy who has genital warts and a snail patch. Says that'll take the warts right off. Guys, what's a snail patch? Have you ever heard of this? You never heard of this either? Okay. Because I Googled it, and I couldn't find anything. I got a very funny Google result that I'm going to drop in the Discord. It's for what I got for snail patches. I'm just going to... Listeners, just join the Discord and see what... Because I can't explain it. It's just funny. I'm going to drop it in the Discord right now.
Well, then, Vic.
So, yeah. And hey, guys, let us know. If you know what a snail patch is, let us know, because I have no idea what it is.
Well, Vic, if you don't know what a snail patch is, let's get weird with it.
Let's get weird. Hey!
So, they make reference to having the girls catch snails to make snail patches. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to guess this is just unprocessed escargot. This is literally just like snails. It's like leeches, but for the south side of Chicago.
Yeah, this has got to be some kind of Native American holistic ritual that I've never heard of, where you take up ground up snail shells and put them over a wound. It's kind of like leeches. You know, they would use leeches to heal shit back in the day. And I guess in areas that didn't have leeches, well, we don't have leeches. We have snails. We just got to make do.
See, my assumption is if anybody has seen snails, snails can climb up stuff. They have adhesive properties. And so I'm assuming that this is a rather potent natural glue. You apply it to the patch, apply it to the location, warts come right off. Along with some other stuff.
Oh, God, that sounds
But the warts are gone.
Yeah. Along with the area of skin around
waxing.
the warts.
She does say it will
duct
burn
tape
them right off.
Yeah. I feel like duct tape would be less painful and more effective. and cheaper, probably.
All right. Well, to take this conversation on the turn the episode takes, the next person in line is here because they're looking for an abortion from a state that is recently banned.
Yeah.
Missouri, which I looked it up for this episode, and Missouri, they're still in the red on this map. It's
This is one of those things where it's...
Yep.
I don't know, like, what they were thinking. As soon as they started doing this, I'm like, you are going to have people coming up with problems you cannot handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we cut away and see Debbie picking up
Julia, yeah.
Julia,
yeah.
who refers to Debbie as another one of my mom's hookers. Yikes.
Yeah.
Big old yikes.
And immediately starts changing in front of her, which means she is very comfortable, like, being around women that their mother is sleeping with. And it's just like, this poor kid.
Whatever.
I feel so bad.
The new one.
Yeah.
Did you notice that she puts on a t-shirt that says "Better Human Than You"?
Yep.
We also get a bit of confirmation in this scene that Wendy is dead.
Oh, that was her name. Yeah.
The mom?
Yeah, because she makes a "your mom" joke.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll go
Debbie
sleep with your
replies,
mom.
yeah.
He's like, good luck. My mom's dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay, this is going to be a fun afternoon. Yeah. Wendy, I couldn't remember her name, but yeah, I guess she was not bluffing when she told Frank that she was dying.
Or
when
she
we saw her
was and
last
died in a different way.
I could actually see that happening. Yeah.
Or faked her death, and Debbie just doesn't know.
All of these are real possibilities.
We'll find out from Laura in a couple of weeks. Lip's boss hooks him up with an after-hours project to pay the bills. Good guy.
Stealing from a chiropractor isn't really stealing.
He's not stealing. He quoted him a price to do the job, and he's doing the job for that price. The guy agreed to it.
Yeah.
There's no theft. This is just like taxation, Ben. You agreed. It's not theft.
We're not getting into this right now, Xhafer.
Yeah, so they hustle this chiropractor for motorcycle repairs. Which actually sounds pretty reasonable the way they talk about it. I mean, honestly, the guy would just be better off buying a new bike and taking some defensive driver's classes, apparently, it sounds like, because he...
And the guy even acknowledges that and then still pays to have the bike repaired.
Yeah.
Mikey is just the fucking worst.
Who? What?
Mickey.
Mikey. Mickey. Let's just clean take that. Mickey is just the fucking worst.
How this guy can have two people who kind of want to date him at the same time is beyond me.
He is human garbage.
Yeah.
Although I do think it was funny when he walks into what are they?
Byron's.
Yeah. To his apartment, he says, "Jesus fuck, why is it so clean in here?"
Well, and he's also just like, okay, well, you're sleeping somewhere else.
Clothes on the
Call
floor.
your maid to make me food every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is why you don't move in with people right away.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've been there before, so. Anyway, it did make me laugh. He says, okay, you're going to have to stick something up my ass once in a while, otherwise I'm going to get real bitchy.
Kevin and V find a way to help the Missouri girl and are already reaping the rewards of a job well done. More work.
So they have a friend who is a doctor who's helping them out. And if I'm this doctor, I'm not getting in 50 feet of this van. Mm-hmm. Like, that she is there at all, I'm just like, oh, girl, please do not destroy this woman's life.
Kind of love V in this scene because they easily could have just turned them away, and it probably would have been overall the smart thing for them personally to do. But she is like, no, this girl's 15, her life's going to be ruined. It's not her fault that the state of Missouri is run by assholes who are, and she's. I wrote down that V is chaotic good. Like she really genuinely wants to help this girl out.
The problem is she's chaotic good. She's teamed up with Kev, who is chaotic stupid.
Yes.
Or, I don't know if chaotic stupid. I feel like he's more golden retrieval energy, so he is stupid good.
I would call him chaotic neutral.
But they find out that before they had even found an answer to this young girl's problem, the mom had already been calling other people and being like, hey, we found the answer. A black market van.
Abortion pill I forgot what the name of it was.
Mifepristone van.
Yeah.
Yep.
We cut back to Carl having interrogation practice in his old bedroom, in which he asked...
He says Ronald Reagan is the best president.
Yes. So where are you?
Checks out.
They asked this poor kid who's tied up, where were you when our greatest president was shot? And the kid goes, Obama was shot? It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Did you catch at the end of the episode when they say the names of the recruits that one of their last names was Obama, by the way?
I'm wondering if that was a nickname or if he really genuinely was like Obama's fucking nephew or something. Didn't one of you guys tell me that Michelle Obama's from Chicago?
That's where they met, going to college in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right.
But actually, all of the kids were like incredibly well connected. And it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, Carl, you done effed up.
Yep.
Faye is trying to get Frank in an oxycoma, which, much like an Oxford comma, is not required.
Oh, that was very, very nice. That was a nice one.
I will die on this hill. You can...
I 100% agree. I lied. I prefer Oxford commas. Who gives a fuck about Vampire Weekend? Julia keeps giving Debbie shit about this time about straws. They go back and forth. This is my favorite Debbie scene in the whole
where
show
she's just
so
like,
far. Fuck you, Riverdale. I paused because I was laughing so hard at fuck you, Riverdale.
Your mom flying to Dubai is more pollution than I will make in a year. Fuck off, rich kid.
Yeah. And she has found out Julia has an anti-straw Facebook group who's staging protests about straws. Well, she would absolutely hate me because not only do I love straws, I get pre-packaged straws that are each individually wrapped.
Dude,
because
just get some metal straws.
You have...
That's gross!
You reuse your crazy straw glass
with your cups.
Yeah.
Just clean it.
That's so gross.
No, it's not. Oh.
You clean them.
Well, okay.
No.
If I had... Dude,
they're very easy to clean.
If I had a dishwasher that actually cleaned my dishes, then yeah, I'd consider
you don't even need
way
that.
Too much work.
You just get a big bowl, you fill it with soapy water. They all come with a little scrub brush. You run it in the middle. Boom, boom, rinse, you're done. It takes 5 seconds per straw.
Okay, but then everything I drink is going to taste like soap.
It doesn't. You rinse it off.
No,
it's just like saying I don't rinse my cups.
Soap.
I don't clean my cups because it'll taste like soap.
God, I'm about to mail you metal straws.
I haven't used a real, like a plastic straw in years.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't actually, when I go to Smoothie King, I just pick up I grab a shitload of them. I take them so.
That doesn't make it better. It
care.
just makes it cheaper. No, I have never liked drinking out of straws. Like, I mean, Ben can attest for the last 20 years, we go out to eat. The straw sits on the table unwrapped for me. I've never liked drinking out of straws, occasionally when necessary, based off of the configuration of the liquid holding vessel. I will acquiesce. But for the most part, I do not enjoy drinking out of straws.
Just to give a little bit of buffer on either side, Vic, here is where I give an unsolicited pitch, where Wei-Un is trying to ban the use of straws, and now Damar is drinking with 2 crazy straws at once.
That's a funny comic. He's drinking Canar out of the bottle with crazy straw sticking out of it. That's real funny. That's real funny.
I have in my head the perfect image to Photoshop in a straw. Nice one. Okay, yeah. Remind me about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're back.
The meme magic happens.
I could just copy and paste Julia's whole rant about how with something ridiculous like 98% of turtles are going to be born with straws in their bodies or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Apparently I didn't look into the veracity, but they said that every man has microplastics in their testicles.
I'm sure that's a kink.
Every man alive. It just unavoidable. You drank water, congratulations, microplastics.
We then cut over to the alibi, where Ian and Liam are ring shopping for...
They're buying...
Yeah.
Buying wedding rings from a freaking fence on a pool table at the alibi.
Liam has good taste.
Yeah. Hey, he takes cards. Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah. I like that Ian says he needs Liam there to try it on because Mickey has freakishly small hands. He needs Liam to try it on. Just that fits Mickey really well. And you know, it is kind of nice of them to haggle over the price with this fence here, considering they're not even using their own money to buy them. They're using the stolen Grandma Maga's credit card.
Mm-hmm. Julia goads Debbie into co-opting her mommy issues.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And Debbie is incredulous at the idea of a spin class. What, you ride a bike and you don't go anywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah. Julia says Deb is a puppet in her mother's body-shaming shit show.
Yep. V's doctor friend accidentally drops her script pad.
This woman's going to jail, and I feel
Not
so
all
bad.
heroes. Yeah.
And we cut over to the alibi, where Carl is proving that 91% of made-up statistics won't be bothered to be double-checked.
Shooting people with paintball guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
Carl's sadistic side is coming back. It seemed like he was getting better there for a little bit, but not back to we're back to the old Carl.
Mm-hmm. V goes to the old folks' home, grabs a bunch of grandmas, and they all get meds for the Missourians.
Which
in
also we
need.
find out that last time on, Kevin has been a nude model for their life drawing class, and all the little old ladies are like, "Oh, hey, Kev, hey, yeah, we'll do this for you. Ooh, when you coming back?"
It is such a Kevin thing to do.
Lip gives Tammy the good news about the side gig, and they talk about their different childhoods.
Yeah.
Yep. This is good steal, bad steal, Robin Hood shit. Ben, as the predominant Robin Hood scholar of the podcast, you got any feels there? Anything you want to talk about? You want to plug your Robin Hood Let's Play podcast
yeah, sure.
real quick? Since it seems like an apt
Yeah,
time
this is
to
actually
do
a
that,
perfect time,
to get
given
to.
the context. Yeah, I have been a guest a couple of times on the Into the Greenwood Robin Hood podcast, and as part of becoming friends with those people over there, I am part of their Let's Play, actual play Robin Hood RPG that can be found on YouTube. So just look up Into the Greenwood, and you can find that playlist there. We're actually having a really fun time. I'm actually learning a lot about English history, a thing I already knew a ton about. And it's really fun.
Are you sure it's safe to Google Into the Greenwood? Because I feel like I'm going to get a bunch of marijuana ads.
I haven't had a problem with it. If you probably just said Into the Green,
okay,
it wouldn't work. But Greenwood is one word.
Right.
And it's really fun watching our bumbling group of brand new outlaws. We have discovered a lot of evidence for some kind of great grand machinations that we have no context for, and we're just wandering around like, okay, we just pissed off a bunch of lords. We stole all their documents. We are going to get in trouble.
Oh, wow. It's the second hit on Google. When I Google Into the Greenwood, it's Into the Greenwood on Apple Podcasts. Open world role-playing game. Huh.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
That's, good job. It looks like you guys are on episode 37. Is that true?
I think that's the Robin Hood podcast.
Yeah,
not
so
the Let's
if
Play.
you follow that same podcast to their YouTube site, that is where the videos for the games are.
Excellent. What's your character's name?
My character is Gunter, which is
Gunter, that's
Gunter
right.
is a historical English name from the time period, and he is a reformed tax collector. So going back to...
He believes there are rules.
Yeah, there's rules here. And so going back to the impetus for this question, I feel that there are absolutely situations where stealing from somebody to another situation can be the right and moral thing to do. That is not how the Gallaghers do this. They steal indiscriminately from anyone for any reason, and because I'm poor doesn't make stealing from a poor shop owner right. If you're stealing from, if you're stealing from somebody who actually is a millionaire, that is different. Stealing from, like, the local bodega, who is then just going to go out of business and now we don't have a bodega, is not sticking it to the man. It is cutting off your nose to spite your face. As well as we've seen many, many situations where the Gallaghers would just have an easier time if they got clean and worked jobs.
Debbie and Julia skip spin class and talk about having a crazy mom, and they end up making out.
Yeah.
Even bigger yikes. The biggest yikes of the episode.
Yeah. You know, and during the conversation, Deb is defending Claudia, telling Julia that, hey, you know your mom loves you, right? And I'm like, Deb, you don't know that. You just found out about her this morning. You didn't even know.
Like, she had a daughter.
Yeah. And Julia was completely right. She was like, wow, you have drunk my mom's Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
Debbie was like, oh, is that a sex thing? Because, yeah, probably.
But also just... She did bring up a better point, like, earlier in the episode, like, hey, I'm actually just, like, I'm closer in age to you than I am to your mom. Like, stop being a dick to me.
Yeah, we're the same generation.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I can also just, like, hey, Deb, I understand you're a kid, and so this is kids making kid problems, but it's also, like, you just slept with her mom.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking that, I mean, this isn't one of my predictions, but it might as well be that Julia is totally gonna freaking blackmail Deb over this. She is gonna use this to get Deb wrapped around her little finger. Y'all just like, oh, I'm gonna tell my mom we're making out. You know, if you don't do what I say. So yeah, this is not gonna end well for anybody, and especially not for Deb. I wrote down that, you know, going back to our role playing game thing. Debbie, I feel like she has very high intelligence, very low wisdom.
Checks out. Lip asks Ian why he's going to propose to Mickey.
It's a great question. If the answer is just, I don't want my relationship to end, that's not a good situation to be in.
Bad answer.
Yep. But it's also, like, it feels like Ian is only with Mickey because of momentum. Like, he cannot describe why he wants to be with Mickey. Mickey has no redeeming qualities that we've seen.
That is exactly what I wrote down on my notes. Mickey has no redeeming qualities. Like, Ian, dude, you can do better.
And Ian, like, walks away and then gets mad that Lip doesn't, like, stop him. And it's just like, you were just going to let me go? And it's like, what do you want me to say?
You're going to try to talk me out of it?
It's like, okay, then I'll try and talk you into it. I want you to marry him. Go do it. And it's just like, okay, Lip, you're just being a supportive brother. Great, I appreciate that. But also, this is the worst marriage we have encountered on this show. And that's saying something. Those rivers run deep.
A lot.
Faye wheelbarrows Frank and a pile of prescription jugs to an empty car, as Carl gets sent to sanitation duty because he was too harsh on the recruits.
This is a real let the horse watch the dog situation, where it's just like, why was Carl allowed to be in charge of, like, he's, like, still in high school age, it feels like. And
why is Carl in charge of anything?
Yeah, why is he in charge of these children?
Yeah.
But going back to Frank getting dumped in a random car with a bunch of drugs, did you guys notice? I don't know what's going on here, but I assume there's some backstory. They wheelbarrowed him into a car lot with some really nice classic cars in the background. Did you guys notice that? I did not. Those were some nice ass cars. They're old classic cars in really good condition. So I don't know what's going on there. It seems like she's being very deliberate about where she's dumping Frank. Yeah, I don't know.
Or it's just in a nicer part of town.
I have no clue.
And as part of this, we missed it a little bit earlier. Frank does either randomly put the pieces together or have a brief moment of lucidity where he understands that he was smoking crack in a car next to Kyle, but he cannot say Kyle was in any way partaking, even if Kyle was, which maybe, we don't know. Mom doesn't want to hear that her baby ever touched drugs. And so Frank was arrested, Kyle was arrested, and because Kyle had the unfortunate situation of being black near drugs in the 90s, he got the book thrown at him, and Frank got out.
At the beginning of the episode, they played a recording of the trial, and Frank got 30 days rehab. Kyle got 45 years in prison. That was rough, dude.
Yeah.
That is rough. I'd be wanting to kidnap a motherfucker too. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
we cut over to Ian being a dumbass trying to get Mickey back, and Byron comes down saying, "Yes, please get him out of here. I don't want him anymore.
Please take him." As he offers Mickey a promise ring.
Ian.
That made me cringe so hard.
And things are bad when Mickey is the person who makes the most sense.
No, and also, like, for some reason, Ian has his on a string around his neck. He's not even wearing it. And it's one of those just like,
Yeah.
you're making every single wrong decision here, my man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. Mickey says that Ian needs to learn to be able to accept love in order to be loved.
What the fuck, Mickey?
We also find out Ian is bipolar.
He's not wrong.
It makes total
that happened
sense.
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. He pees in the moped gas tank, though.
Points for Victor. I made that prediction a long time ago. Someone was going to piss where they shouldn't. Finally happened. But to poor Byron. Byron didn't do anything wrong except have poor taste in men.
Yep.
I was like, Ian, come on, man. Byron didn't do anything wrong. Why are you pissing in his gas tank?
We get a couple scenes from the credits, and then Kevin and V are recouping from their day as a few cars pull up looking for Nurse V's Jiffy Abortion Clinic.
Cars with Missouri license plates.
And just piles of teenage girls. Yeah.
Yeah. That was rough. That was rough to watch. Yeah. Don't get pregnant in Louisiana, man. I looked it up, the current abortion laws, and there's a massive red splotch in the southeast corner of the U.S., and Louisiana's right in the middle, man. It's just this big red. I'm just going to say this episode made me very proud of the fact that I got vasectomy. So
I was trying to learn how to use a butterfly knife, and now I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Botany
Bay. Oh, no.
Bay. All right. Well, that is the episode. I'm going to roll some bones here.
Roll them bones!
So if I roll a 15 or higher, we're going to the finale.
Oh, great. We're going to the finale, aren't we? I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones.
That is a 13.
What?
So we are going to season 11, episode 10, DNR.
Oh, my God.
Veronica's desire for her mom to move back to Chicago takes an unexpected turn in
Do
Louisville.
they poach a deer? What's going on? How do they run afoul of the Department of Natural Resources?
That is not what DNR means, Ben. This clearly stands for do not resuscitate.
The deer's already dead.
Oh, my God.
The police look for a painting that Frank stole. You guys want to make some predictions?
Let's make some predictions.
Play the song.
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing? I guess no one's coming.
I have seen into the future.
You ruined the prophecy.
I can start.
Start us off.
My daytime prediction, we will see Julia again.
Ooh.
The twist.
Yeah.
My evening prediction goes hand in hand. We never see Claudia again. And then my prime time, she might have stepped in to fill in for Fiona, but I'm going to go ahead and say we never see Aunt Opie again.
Oh, God, we can only hope. She did say that she went out of town to go find her Nana, who was gone missing
Tammy's
again.
Nana. She went with Tammy's dad.
Because she is Tammy's aunt.
Tammy's grandmother.
That's right. Okay, I'm all confused.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will go next.
I can go next.
Go ahead. You got it.
I called it. Okay. So I'm going to going a little easy this time. My daytime prediction is we get another breakfast scene. I've just, it's never really clocked it, but yeah, we get a lot of Gallagher.
No, there's one every episode.
Yeah.
No. This is a freebie point. No, I don't like this.
Yeah, no, it's gonna happen again. That's what I'm saying. It was a staple in Breaking Bad, and I feel like this is a staple here too. We're getting a Gallagher breakfast scene. Come on, we only have 2 episodes left.
Take your free point, I guess. But I expect more work on the following ones.
Well,
if you had tried to pass it off as an evening prediction, I would formally object.
Very well. Very well. My next 2, I feel like are real cliffhangers, real risky, real whatever. Okay. My evening prediction.
I'm listening.
B becomes a real nurse. That's her story arc. She gets
Okay.
And
goes to school, gets her RN.
And here we go. Here's for my primetime prediction. I feel like this is going to be real risky. Lip and Tammy stay together for the rest of the series.
I honestly expect that as well.
I think so too.
Shit. I feel like because we always see Lip with a different girl every episode, but I think
she's already made it a season, and she's also in the title credits.
But so was Joan Cusack.
It's a lot less risky.
So is Joan Cusack. That's fair. Yeah.
So I'm going to say daytime. The doctor gets caught and almost loses their license. So I'm going to say like they don't fully lose it, but like there's an inquiry and it's like you got to shut this mobile ambulance down, black market ambulance down. I might lose my license.
Mm-hmm.
My evening, and it makes me sad. But somehow Ian and Mickey is the biggest, longest running love story that this show will have.
Oh, that's terrible.
I mean, it's been going since season 4, so I think that's probably already true. If we're going for episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. And my prime time is somehow Frank gets out of being found in a car full of stolen narcotics and doesn't end up going to prison for it.
That seems probably. I mean, knowing that there's 1 season left, I don't think you do that with William H. Macy in prison. Yeah. So I buy that. All right. Well, with all that said, there's only one thing left to do, and that's say thank you. Thank you, Ripe, for letting us use Goon Squad as our theme music. We appreciate the hell out of it, and we appreciate the hell out of you. They're currently touring. Go find them. Playing a show near you. Check them out on streaming services, wherever you listen to music. Ripe, thank you so much.
And thank you to you, the listener. Thank you for coming back every week and listening to us record. If you enjoy our show, please leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook. And if you do, we'll give you a shout out here on the show.
And feel free to join us over at the Last Time On Listener Lounge, where the password is Wahhabahar. We're starting to try to do some more stuff over there, having some episode discussions. And that is also how you get to the Discord, where we have lots of fun stuff going on, lots of fun memes and songs and just really
pictures of snail patches.
Tell us about and now a divorce chat.
Oh yeah, we gotta go make the divorce channel.
And we will see you all next time on Last Time On.